Is there anything that you want to hear him say?
I don't care what he says.
Do you believe that he could turn to the victims' families and say he's sorry?
I don't care. It would mean nothing to, it would mean nothing to me.
And him saying that there's 8, it's hard to believe a serial killer is telling the truth.
I don't really care what he has to say.
What if he told you that there were more?
You know, again, that would be something that we would obviously look into, but, you know, we'll always go back to our evidence.
And that is the Suffolk County District Attorney Ray Tierney. And we're talking about a serial killer who evaded law enforcement for decades, who is set to be sentenced to life in prison. Rex Heuermann, the confessed Long Island serial killer, pleaded guilty to strangling 8 women after the remains of victims were discovered on New York's Long Island. The former architect set to be formally sentenced at a hearing on Wednesday. And here with us now to break down the details of this case, retired NYPD Sergeant Joe Giacalone, host of True Crime with the Sarge on YouTube, and the director of the documentary Killing Season and host of Sinister on YouTube, Josh Zeman. I follow you both. We talk all the time and compare notes, and I look forward to your coverage always. Thank you very much for being here. We've got such a big week ahead. You both have covered this case for years. We've got the victim impact statements will be a huge part of the sentencing. And then we learned last night together that the court will allow victim impact statements to be filmed, including watching Heuermann's reaction. It won't be live, but as of right now, the judge is permitting cameras to roll. Josh, I want to start with you. You've spent a lot of time interviewing some of these family members we're going to be hearing from. So I want to start with you and how you think this is going to play out. I mean, this is going to be a huge moment.
I think, look, they've been frustrated for over a decade. And so this is the first time they're actually going to be able to speak in court. And I'm interested to hear what they have to say. You know, they need their due. And I think it's really great that the public will be able to hear what they have to say. The question becomes, is Rex Heuermann going to speak?
That's right. And Joe, the court is going to place a podium inside the well of the court so family members can actually face Heuermann. And we can only imagine how difficult that will be for them. But they are ready for it, as Josh just said. And we heard this week that Heuermann's family won't be there. So his ex-wife, Asa, and his daughter, Victoria, they're not going to be there. What do you make of that?
Well, I'm not surprised, Laura, that they're not going to be there. I mean, if you remember, Asa was denying that he was even responsible for this. And then she even said in sum and substance that I'd have to hear it from his own mouth that he did it. And she has. We know he has, right? Between the Peacock documentary and all the other things that she says. So she knows he's the guy that is responsible for the death of 8 women. And there's just no going back for her at this point. She's done herself no favors in regards to how she's handled some of these questions that she's had. So I think it's the best thing that she stays home, far away from court as possible this weekend.
Yeah, she said in a statement through her attorney that she didn't want it to be about her. She wanted it to be about the victims. It's their chance to have this moment. I do want to ask you both about what comes next. We're all focused on what's happening on Wednesday, and it's going to be a really long day. But then after he is officially sentenced, Heuermann will be transferred to his new forever home, a New York State prison. And New York law then, as we know, allows his DNA to be entered into a federal system known as CODIS to see if there's any cold cases throughout the country to match. Joe, what else do you think we're going to see here?
I think he's going to be gone off Long Island within 24 to 48 hours. They don't want anything to do with him at this point because he's now the state's problem. But I think that once his DNA gets into CODIS, we're hoping to see if there's any connected cases. Now, the issue that comes down to is, like the district attorney says, they need evidence. So, of course, the gold standard is DNA. And I think there are many families out there from not only from around the country here that are just kind of keeping their fingers crossed that maybe they can get an answer.
And Josh, you have been spending a lot of time covering this case for many, many years through your work in film and with your podcast. I know that you've been to many other jurisdictions as well, looking into potential connections. Here's what the Suffolk County DA, Ray Tierney, told me about what happens next with Heuermann's DNA. Let's listen together.
There's ways legally that we could share those results from one jurisdiction to the other. There's requirements in New York. The other jurisdictions have those requirements. So our professionals, we comply with both law, and there's a way that we could share that, and we've been doing that.
Okay, so
I guess we will wait.
Wait, and so that's case to case. Obviously, then there's CODIS, which once this defendant is convicted, which will be the time of sentence, then his profile will be downloaded on CODIS, and then it'll be available across the country.
So, Josh, I was hoping that you could share with us, what states do you have your eyes on? What do you think could be in the future with this?
Well, we're definitely looking at North Carolina, South Carolina, Vegas. You know, Rex had a timeshare in Vegas. He had two. You and I were both out in Vegas. We visited those timeshares. And it's just a question of also, how good is CODIS? Is it really going to light up? What are we going to see? So I think there's a lot of questions. For me, a lot of the questions still go back to Long Island. We have other victims found on Ocean Parkway, and we have other victims in Nassau County that look like they could be Rex victims.
Right. I mean, we're talking about the case of Tanya Jackson and her daughter. We're talking about Asian male doe. There's still so many questions. Joe, as we move through the summer, what do you hope happens next? Because when I was talking to Ray Tierney, and my many thanks to Tierney for speaking with me, he was talking about, the IGG and how important that is. That is investigative genetic genealogy. Let's talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, listen, he said that they have their own person in-house, which is great, so they can work on these things. And not having a trial and saving all that money for trial costs and personnel, I think they can really do some wonderful work and try to get some of these cases brought up to speed, so to speak, and maybe close up a few ones. He's got a whole list of them on his website, and I think he's really, I think he's excited about that fact, actually.
And Josh, I want to give you the last word. What are you looking for next?
I'm looking for more investigation into some folks like Carmen Vargas, found in Meadowbrook Parkway, Nassau County. She really looks like she could be a Rex victim. Looking forward to really getting the truth about Peaches, Tanya and Tatiana Denise Jackson. So there's just other victims that we need to look at. This case is not over.
This case is not over. And the three of us are going to be together in Suffolk County covering this case, going to this sentencing. I look forward to seeing you guys there. Retired NYPD Sergeant Joe Giacalone, Josh Zeman, the director of the documentary Killing Season. And I look forward to seeing you on your YouTube show tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern. Thank you very much for joining us. I'll see you in court.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.